In a quarter mile, merge onto I-285 South.
Come on, Cosby!
I'm Kos, and welcome back to Crafting with Kos. If you're back for another DIY. So these DIY projects are going to be all about spring, and I'm going to be using dollar store materials to create 3 different spring wreaths for any door decor to get you spring ready. I'm going to be using 3 of the same spring wreath forms to create 3 different looks. So if you want to see how these spring wreaths turn out, let's go ahead and let's get right started. So for the first spring wreath, I'm going to be using these felt flower pieces from this floral garland, as well as some ribbon and a foam wreath form. So this is probably one of the easiest and quickest wreaths that I made out of all these projects, and I'm basically just starting by using some hot glue and using the ribbon and wrapping the ribbon around the wreath form so the entire piece is covered. And after I used up all the ribbon to cover up the wreath form, then I noticed that I was a little short, so I just used some of the felt flowers to cover up those spaces. And all the felt flowers were attached by string, so I just detached them from the string and then added them to the wreath. For the next wreath, I used most of this foliage, these carrots, and this grass that I used from my previous Easter project. So with this process, I just basically pinched chunks of the grass from the bag and then used my glue gun to add it to the wreath form to cover the entire wreath. And then I flipped it over and did the same thing to the other side. And then I used some small nails that I already had on hand to pin these green leafy leaves in place. Then I laid out the carrots how I wanted them and basically started to have them going in opposite directions, and then I used the glue gun to put them in place. So for this wreath, the only thing that I decided not to use was the Spanish moss pictured in this clip. So for this spring wreath, I completely covered the wreath form in the green reindeer moss. And this wreath actually matches perfectly to one of the projects that I've done in the past, where I've done a spring table runner using reindeer moss. So if you were trying to do this project, both of these projects will be a perfect set. And after I got all of the moss adhered, then I started to position and add some of the butterflies to the wreath as a finishing touch. Thanks for watching, and check out these other super cute DIYs on a budget.